The opposing team is leading, but all that is going to change. When we talk about animation, we talk about keyframes. What is a keyframe? Fixation of value at a point in time. For example, if we choose the basketball and look at the values of its transformation, we have 3 channels with 3 axes in each. Next to each channel, on the right, there is a point that allows us to make a keyframe on that value. I clicked, and the dot was replaced by a diamond sign. And the position X value is yellow. That means I have a keyframe on this value at this time. What do I mean by this time? Let's take a look at the timeline editor. It is a left-to-right timeline measured in frames. The number of frames in the scene can be set here. Which frame will be the start and which the end. Here, we will see the frame that we are currently watching. We set in frame 1 in the timeline a value of 3 on the x-axis of the location of the basketball. If we grab the time cursor from the top area and drag to frame 10, I can now enter a value of 4 in the basketball location, and you will see that the color of the channel has changed to orange, which means that we changed the value but did not set it on the timeline with a keyframe. If we press the diamond again, we will set a keyframe at this time. Now, if we drag the time cursor, we will see that we have an animation of the location value. Now we will make sure the ball dives into the basket with the z-axis. Let's go to the timeline to frame 10 and add a keyframe on the z-axis. In practice, it is rare that we use the diamond on the channels there to set keyframes. We started from this because it's a little more familiar to those who comes from other softwares. In Blender, the shortcut I will be our go-to for the most parts. So when we hover above the channels of the location with the mouse and press I on the keyboard, you will see that we now have keyframes on all the axes. At the moment, the z-axis has a value of 3 in frame 10. We will move the time to frame 20, and with the move tool we will move the ball to the 0 of the world, the floor. Again, we will hover above the channels of the location and press I on the keyboard. We got changing values on the timeline. Click play here or spacebar on the keyboard. Nice, we have animation. Very mechanical animation, but animation. The first problem we have here is that the animation on the z-axis is waiting for the animation on the x-axis to finish. We want a natural overlap between them. At the moment, we see only a summary of our keyframes on the timeline, and separating z from x would be difficult. In the view menu of the timeline, we will turn on channels and open the area on the left that we can extend and see all the channels that have values and keyframes on them and change them separately. Let's improve the animation. Move up the keyframes of the z-axis. The ball doesn't have to wait to the drop. Say frame 3. Looks much more natural. Note that the timeline shows us that while we do have keyframes on the y-axis, its value did not change between frame 10 and frame 20. This continuous line between them is an indicator for this. The x-axis has also not changed. Note, we see in the timeline only the keyframes of the selected object. If I choose the pole, it seems that it has no keyframes, and we don't see those of the basketball until we choose it again. Although the crowd goes crazy from my shot, my animation is average minus. I will improve this in 2 main points. 1, we will delay in the basket a little longer so that it doesn't feel the net is made of air. 2, make sure the ball bounces at the contact with the floor. Let's search the timeline for the moment when the basket touches the ring, and set keyframes on the z-axis as well. At the moment, we only have keyframes on the x and y axis at this moment in time. We can add a keyframe straight from here. When we hover the mouse over the timeline, press I on the keyboard and select all channels. And we got keyframes on the z-axis as well. We will look for the moment the ball leaves the net. And here too, we will add a keyframe with the shortcut I on the keyboard. Nice! We added 2 more keyframes, but if I press play, we will see that nothing really changed. We will have to edit the timing a bit. We will drag the keyframes of the exit from the net forward so that the ball will be there longer. Move the timeline to the beginning and press play. Works better. Now we will deal with the bounce. We will reach frame 20, and from there we will move about 3 frames forward. Move the ball up and set a keyframe. This time directly from the viewport. When the mouse hovers in the viewport, press I, set keyframes. Oh no, we got keyframes on all channels. And right now, we want only on the location. We can set it in Keying Set in the Timeline menu to the left of the view. Click on it will open a menu that will ask what we want the keyframes on. Let's choose Location. The shortcut Shift-K on the keyboard lets us go to the menu when the mouse is in the viewport. Let's delete unnecessary channels from the timeline. Select and press X on the keyboard. We will move another 3 frames on the timeline and lower the ball to the floor and press I on the keyboard. See? Because we set the key set only for location, as soon as I pressed I only got keyframes on the location channel. Let's add one more smaller jump because it's already lost his energy. And press I on the keyboard. We will move 2 more frames, and instead of moving the ball to the floor again, we will copy the keyframes of the Z-axis when it was on the floor. Ctrl-C, we will make sure that we are indeed at the desired time, and press Ctrl-V to paste it here. We have a jump. The animation is well timed, but it lacks character. The nature of the movement is determined by the interpolation from keyframe to keyframe. The most effective way to do this, without adding more keyframes to the timeline, is from the graph editor. In order to switch to it, go to the Edit panel and change the editor in the animation column from Timeline to Graph Editor. Because switching between them is common and happens a lot, the shortcut Ctrl-Tab when the mouse is over it will switch between them quickly. The graph editor shows me a graph of 2 variables, time versus value. Earlier, I only saw the time and dots. To know what this point means, I need to look up in the object properties. In the graph editor, I can see the Z-axis of the ball starts from 3 and goes down to 0, then goes up to 0.5 and again to 0. Each channel and axis is represented as a different color, X red, Y green, and Z blue. Unlike the timeline, I can edit the values directly from here. Let's say we want the ball to start from a higher point. Let's select the Z-axis on the left and press on the keyframe. As long as we press and drag, we can move it. In order not to move it on the 2 axes together accidentally, when I hold the keyframes and move, I can press once X on the keyboard or Y on the keyboard, and make sure that it moves only on one axis. In this case, it is only on the Y that represents the value and not the time. We talked about character, right? Every keyframe has handles. Those handles will let us characterize the transition from one point to point. They will also help us save unnecessary keyframes. Each keyframe is created with acceleration and deceleration by default. It can be clearly seen in the arcs between keyframes. Try to imagine it as a slide. I start sliding slowly, accelerate, and slow down again towards the end. Let's focus for a moment on the ball's impact point on the floor. We wouldn't want it to slow down before hitting it. Let's select the left handle and lift it up. Nice, we got a direct collision course to the floor, a sharp slide. But right now, the handles are connected to each other. Any movement of one moves the other, and we don't want the ball to go underground. We can set different modes to the handles. Right-click in the menu Handle Type, select Free. Now, each handle will be free to do as it please. In this case, the vector option will also work nicely, with the handles pointing in the direction of their neighbors. If we want some focus, we can hide the channels that we are not currently editing. Let's quickly arrange the rest of the handles and characterize them as we wish. To sum it up, we learned how to set keyframes on the timeline and to effectively control the interpolation, the transition between them. Now I have more natural motion. We have 3 more animation paths here, each with a different difficulty. You can challenge yourself and also add animation on the rotation and size. Just don't forget to change the key set, which is currently set only to location. We are definitely more skilled and maybe even ready for tomorrow's game against the opposing team. See you in the next lesson.